If you're a high school basketball player that's feeling pressured to play year-round basketball, including this spring season, today I'm going to share why you might want to consider actually playing a different sport this spring, and how it might help your basketball career actually flourish. I'm also going to dispel the 3 myths that you might have been told as to why you have to play spring ball. Let's jump in and discuss. Welcome back to Hard Smart Together. I'm Coach Dave. I'm here every week to help basketball players become the smart, confident players that coaches love. So you just wrapped up your high school season, and all of a sudden you're approached with, well, I could play the next basketball season, which has become spring, and leads to summer, which leads to fall, which leads to the next season, and all of a sudden you find yourself playing year-round basketball. Or maybe you consider taking a break from basketball this spring and maybe playing a different sport. Okay, and so today I want to just talk about the 3 myths of what you may have heard as to why you have to play spring basketball. And because I was one of those coaches. When I first started coaching in high school, I was one of those coaches that put out those myths with my players as to why they really needed to play spring ball. So wherever you might be feeling the pressure to play spring basketball, we're going to kind of dispel some of those myths. We're also going to talk about how maybe playing a different sport might actually help your basketball career flourish, right? What are the benefits to playing a different sport? So we're going to talk about, that a little bit as well. And you might be thinking, this is funny coming from a basketball-centric channel. Why is Coach Dave trying to tell me to play a different sport? Because this channel is about more than basketball. This is about you helping you to develop that steady, stable confidence that you can apply both on the court and off the court. It's about you developing to become not just a better basketball player and a better athlete, but hopefully give you some skill sets that you can apply throughout life as well. So it's not just about basketball, although the reason I'm recommending that you consider playing a different spring sport is because I think it might be best for your basketball career as well. Now, before I jump totally into today's topic, I always want to remind you, make a free gift available. It's 8 intangible skills that coaches love to see in players. You can download a free checklist. It gives you some ways to work on these skills. And if you want to be one of those smart, confident players that coaches love, be sure to download this. I'll put a link below. You can simply go to hardsmarttogether.com/intangibles. Download that. I'll also let you know whenever we're putting out fresh content that you might want to follow along. Okay, so I mentioned I was one of those coaches, right? I was like, wait a second, you can't play another sport. You got to play basketball year round. We're doing something in the spring with an AAU program, or we're doing something in the summer. We're traveling as a high school program, or, recruiting tournaments. In the fall, we're trying to get the team together to play, and then obviously our season. So why did I put out those myths, and why might you be feeling pressure from, maybe some of the adults in your life? Well, I didn't want to lose my players, and your coach doesn't want to lose his players or her players. Your parents don't want you to lose your passion for the game of basketball. They, maybe are loving, participating alongside you in that career. And so that's why they have you specialize and they have you play year round. But really, it comes down to all the myths that are told to players on why they have to play every single season, whether it's spring, fall, summer, and obviously your season, is because they don't want to lose you. They want you on their team, okay? So know that you are wanted, but it just might be best for you to consider this. So what are these myths? One is that you'll fall behind your teammates. put you at a disadvantage. Maybe you won't get that starting spot. Maybe you won't get as much playing time. Maybe you won't make a team, right? You'll fall behind. They're out there playing, right? But the truth is that you might be giving yourself an advantage in a lot of ways, right? We talked a couple of weeks ago about preventing burnout, right? Playing year-round throughout your entire high school career is a good way to lead to burnout. And spring's a good time to kind of take a step back, right? You get a chance to work on your mindset, just stepping away from the game. Even you can still think about the game, you can still work on the game, right? But just exposing yourself to other coaches, other teammates, other competitive areas, whatever the sport that you might choose, is great for developing your competitiveness still. It's great for working on your mindset. And then maybe your body needs a break. Spring's a great time to give your body a break. Basketball is really hard on athletes. And there's been studies that have shown that multi-sport athletes actually have less injuries, right? Because you're cross-training. And we're going to talk about some specific sports and why they might be really good for your body, your mind, a lot of benefits to some of these other sports that you could play. And then, just in general, this whole myth of, you'll fall behind your teammates. Some of the greatest athletes across sports are multi-sport athletes, okay? I mean, Michael Jordan, baseball, basketball, golf as well. Even today, one of the greatest shooters, Steph Curry, golf, basketball. One of his teammates, Klay Thompson, baseball, basketball. Other sports, Patrick Mahomes. If you follow football, Patrick Mahomes, basketball, football, right? Across the board, you can just name them, both on the female side and the male side, right? Great athletes typically play multiple sports, and they're just competitive in each one of those sports. That does not mean they're not focused on their main sport. You can still maintain a focus on your main sport while giving yourself a bit of a break. And again, spring's a great time to do that. What's another myth? You got to play spring or the recruiters won't see you. You'll ruin your opportunity to play in college. It's not true. It's not true. You can still play the summer recruiting, tournaments. If you're good enough, you're going to get noticed. You don't even need to play all these different tournaments that you're playing, okay? I was a recruiter at the college level at both Division II and Division I. And I followed around players, that we had on our recruiting list. Let me tell you something. If they didn't play during the spring, we didn't go, we're not recruiting them anymore. Stop. Take them off the list. College is going to find you. You just need to work on your process of developing your game, how you play the game, how you think, and developing that stable, steady confidence. They'll see you in the summer. They'll see you in the fall, okay? Another myth, you have to get better. You have to get better in order to earn playing time next season, right? You've got to work on your game. You've got to develop your game. Well, we've talked on this channel all the time about there's a lot of different ways to develop your game. Maybe you can implement some film study, and you can still give your body a break and develop your basketball IQ, right? It doesn't mean you have to totally step away from the game of basketball. You can still do some shooting workouts, some ball handling workouts, some individual work, right? It doesn't mean you have to step away completely, although you might want to just for the spring. But I'll tell you this, burnout's not going to make you better. Burnout's not going to help you as an individual, and it's definitely not going to help your team if you burn out, you have a bad attitude next year or the year after, or you decide to quit the sport. Nobody wants that. None of those coaches that are encouraging you to continue playing year-round, or your parents or wherever you might be feeling this pressure from, they don't want you to quit. But, avoiding burnout is a big one. You just might need to give your mind and your body a break, okay? So what are some of these sports we're talking about? Maybe you have one that you're interested in. Maybe you used to play it, at a younger age and you want to pick it back up. But I'll tell you, I had a couple of water polo players on my basketball team when I coached high school. It's an amazing compliment, right? Because they were some of the strongest players. One, they had spent all this time in the water developing their body and their muscles in a different way, right? Not so much high impact. And if you watch water polo, it's a lot like basketball in the water, right? Their vision was amazing, their passing, their catching. It has a lot of the same kind of spacing, strategy. Water polo is a wonderful opportunity to complement your basketball, journey. But maybe you need to get stronger in different ways and make your body stronger and cross-train. Track and field is another great way, whether it's running or some of the jumping events or whatever the case might be. Track and field could be a great opportunity. Tennis, golf. You want to work on your mindset, try golf, right? Because a lot of strategy, a lot of mindset, a lot of dealing with adversity on the golf course. And there's a reason that a lot of basketball players love being golfers as well. Baseball, softball, it doesn't matter. But playing in these additional sports is not just going to help your body, it's going to help your mind. And we talked about recruiting. You need to open up your world of relationships. You can't, we live in a bit of a who you know world today, okay? And so opening up different relationships with new teammates, new coaches, new mentors, whatever the case might be, it can only help you. It might help you, there might be connections with a specific college you want to go to. It might be connections that you leverage down the road with job opportunities, or you just might make a whole group of additional new friendships that you didn't have. You might have different people that think a little differently and put things in perspective for you, or whatever the case might be. So developing relationships is great, a great benefit to playing a different spring sport. Okay, I would recommend that if you're considering playing a different sport, just be upfront and honest with your coaches today, your parents, whoever it is that might be like, wait a second, you need to play year round. Feel free to show them this video, or just be upfront. This is why I'm doing this. Basketball is still a love of mine. I still want to play. I'm not giving it up, but I just need a little bit of a mental and a physical break, and I want to experience something new, or I want to experience this other sport. I want to develop some other relationships. Be upfront and honest with them, and be upfront and honest with the coaches of maybe the new sport that you walk into, because you got to be honest. Like, basketball is my primary sport, right? I'm not going to play year-round for you. I'm not going to play year-round softball, year-round baseball. I'm not going to play year-round water polo. Basketball is my primary sport, but I think I can contribute, and I'd like to experience this sport as well. So I recommend that. And just remember that you only get one shot at this high school thing. It's 4 years. It comes and goes in the blink of an eye. You might not think so today, but believe me, when you look back, it'll have come and gone real fast. You got one shot. Have your vision of what you want for your high school career. Have your vision of what you want for your basketball career, and you do you. So if you feel that you want to, participate in a different spring sport, be sure and let people know why that is, and you should go for it. In any case, hopefully this helps with any decision that you're making as far as playing basketball this spring, maybe playing a different sport, doing a different activity, or just taking a break. So until next week, remember to play hard, play smart, and play together. See you next week.